Hey, everybody, welcome to the PanelCast. Uh, he is your host,
What? Him?
him. And what is him name?
Hey everybody, this is Justin.
Justin. Justin is your host this week. I'm just the bald guy over here. So, Justin, what are we doing this week?
I believe this week we're going to talk about Daredevil, Born Again Season 1,
Ooh,
and Sinners, and
ooh,
Bondsman Season 1.
ooh. That sounds exciting.
Spicy.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Awesome. Well, go ahead and start us off, sir. Why don't you?
Well,
You're the host, Justin.
let's start with the most recent that I've watched, which would be Bondsman. And
Awesome.
that is a 8-episode series on Prime Video, starring Kevin Bacon. And it is it was recommended to me by AJ, and it was very cool. It is Kevin Bacon is a bail bondsman in a pretty small town in Georgia, and I should first say that there will be spoilers. We're going to be spoiling everything we talk about. So if you haven't seen any of these and don't want to know any of this,
Walk away.
yes, pause this for now and come back to it when you have seen these things. Or you can watch it one at a time,
Right.
one segment at a time. Anyway, so Bondsman,
Yeah.
so first episode, I guess it's not much of a spoiler because it's in the first episode, but Kevin Bacon gets murdered while on a job. It ends up being a trap, and he gets murdered by some local thugs, and he comes back. He goes to hell and comes back as a demon hunter for the devil. Pretty much um, tracking down demons that have escaped hell, and it progresses from there. And it's cool. It starts off as just like kind of a demon of the week type story. But then you realize there is an overlapping connection, and you start diving into why he went to hell in the first place. And you meet some other people that are working for the devil, and yeah, it's a cool show. It's very R-rated, very violent. It had some great gore, a lot of good practical effects. Uh, Very violent, very cool. Kevin Bacon is great. Kevin Bacon's always great, but he's really cool in it. He has his character has an ex-wife who is dating the local thug and a teenage son, and he works his mother is like his partner in the bail bondsman business they own together. And she's like basically retired now, but she was like a bondsman back in her day. And so yeah, it goes from there. And like I said, it has an overlapping story. You find out the connections between these demons that are being released, and then it comes to involve his family. And had a good season finale, and hopefully it gets picked up again. I haven't heard whether or not it has, but had a good cliffhanger for a season finale, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's cool. They're like pretty much like 40-minute episodes, so it's a nice quick watch. So there's not a lot. There's like no filler. There's not a single filler episode. Every episode progresses the story, and has some cool events, and they do some cool flashbacks, so you learn about his past and um, some of the other supporting characters' past. I don't remember her name, but the woman that signed him up when he came back.
Handler.
What's that?
His handler.
Yeah, his handler. Yeah, it shows her past and how she got involved and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a good show. I liked it. Probably my favorite thing about it, besides the gore and the effects and stuff, which were great. I really liked how there wasn't this whole him spinning episode upon episode convincing people of what's really going on.
Yeah,
what,
I
you
noticed that
know,
too. That was really like
yeah,
everyone
he
kind of
told his
agrees.
mom, and like she
Right.
believes him, and his ex-wife and his son. It took very little convincing for them to see what was actually going on. So I was like, oh, thank God. I get tired of those shows where like, there's demons running around and it takes the hero like, 3 or 4 episodes to convince people, his close friends and loved ones of what's going on.
Right.
So
Right. And I mean, um, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I loved the show when I saw it. So much so that I was like, guys, we have to talk about the show.
yeah,
And immediately texted everybody in the chain. Was like, we have to review it and talk about it because when I first saw the trailers and it was coming out, I was aware of it and uh, uh, thought to myself, well, I'll check it out maybe because it looked tired in the trailers and stuff. Not
mhm,
that it just looked like something that had been done before.
yeah,
And in watching it, I realized it had a very familiar storyline,
right,
but the way that its point of view came across and the Kevin Bacon of it all,
right. He's
like
really great. I mean,
let's just admit it, it's the Kevin Bacon that makes the show.
yeah,
Um, is what I really appreciate because a lot of times you see Kevin Bacon in these movies and he's acting, you know what I mean, and he's being in that character or whatever, and
hmm,
that's cool. It's cool to see Kevin Bacon do that stuff, but this one, he was just low down and dirty, and
yeah,
it was awesome.
yeah. No, he's not like a great person.
He's
You
not
know,
he's not a
um,
redeemable person,
he's
but
he, he's an identifiable. You can empathize with him, but
right.
he's not like a good person. He's not downright evil either, but he's not like a stand up, a real.
Oh, that question keeps coming up about like, well, what did you do that made you go to hell?
Right, yeah.
Like
And
everyone's
then you
like,
find out, you're like, oh, that's fucked up.
right,
Yeah,
and even his family was like, "What did you do? I mean, you're an asshole, but you're not that bad of a guy. Like,
right.
with all the
Well,
things you've
even
done,
there was that
everyone
one
deserves it."
scene where, his mom wanted everyone to pray, and his son was like, he's like, you know, God, mistakenly sent my dad to hell. I got beef with God, because the whole
Right,
time everyone was thinking it was a mistake that he got sentenced to hell, and then you find out it wasn't.
right,
And but no, it was good. It was really efficient writing because, like I said, there's no filler episodes, and each episode is only 40 minutes. But they did a lot of background stuff. You got
28,
you got
28
the
minutes.
background of Lucky. You got the background of their relationship. You got Lucky's the local thug I mentioned earlier.
Right,
You got the background of like him and his ex-wife's relationship. You got the background of like why they broke up. You got the background of his relationship with his son and his mom, and they did it really efficiently and kept the show rolling with no, extraneous dialogue and stuff. It was really well done. It was like it's almost like a comic. It's just real
right. And
real
it's just like,
quick and like they fill you in on the story by moving the story forward, if that makes sense.
and then
Whether
like the next episode just flows nicely,
Yeah,
but it doesn't waste time in the flow. Like
right,
it doesn't waste time getting from A to B with a whole bunch of bullshit, like A.1, A.2,
right,
that's it's like, no, like we're done with this scene. Let's move on.
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And the homeboy in the trunk was
yeah.
a
That
very,
was
very
that
silly
was
moment.
funny because that went on for like 2 episodes. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
I felt bad for that
Actually, yeah, I really like him because then even like when Lucky gets him out the whole time, he's like, "I told you they're witches."
guy.
Yeah, he was really funny.
And the monsters of the week were so just like wrong.
Yeah,
The pastor, the
hmm
the the cheerleader,
the little kid.
the little
Yeah,
kid, like, oh my god, they're like, what was that on the floor? Well, that ain't pizza.
right. No, yeah, it was good.
it was a good show to watch. When I watched it, you know, it was
Yeah,
good because I was able to laugh and it cheered me up and it made me think of, you know, Richard at the same time. Like
right.
I would have sent that to Richard in a heartbeat and get him to
Yeah,
watch it. And he
yeah.
would
He would
love
have
it.
dug that. Yeah, for sure.
You know, and so like it was just a good time to watch the show and it came out
Yeah,
perfectly. And I'm glad you liked it because like
yeah, yeah.
you
It's
know
weird saying that it's lighthearted, but it kind of is.
it's
You
it's
know?
lighthearted gore.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
And
It
the
was.
man's in there smoking a cigarette after he had his throat slit and
Yeah,
smoke's coming
the
out.
smoke coming out of his throat.
And he's
Yeah,
so pissed because he can't get a full hit, so he duct
yeah,
tapes his throat hole.
yeah. After he comes back from there, he's like, I guess there's no reason to stop smoking now.
And if you've been a smoker, you know you've been there where like you've gotten a broken cigarette
Yeah,
and you're trying to like, you know, rig it up so that you can still hit that cigarette.
right.
I've been there, you know, trying to patch the hole or plug the hole. He did the same thing, dude. We would have just
Yeah,
taped up the throat and just kept going.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was wonderful.
It was good. And um, another thing I really liked is the music, because a lot of times when they, because him and his wife, I didn't mention this, him and his wife are musicians, and they used to play together, and things fell apart, and she's still a musician, and now his son's trying to perform with
Okay.
the mom. But a lot of times when they do music, and I know Kevin Bacon's a musician and he has a band and stuff, so that's probably why this is. But a lot of times when they do music and shows, it's just really unrealistic and corny, and
And you could tell
um,
somebody else is singing, or you
or
can tell that they're
it
piping
doesn't even,
in fake
doesn't
music.
sound like a real song because you can tell it was like made for TV, you know. But
Right.
these songs, and they're like their music is like country rock, but like more like a 80s, 70s, 80s country rock,
Okay.
and they were all cool songs, and even the songs that they had, like the needle drops that they had in the show, were good. They had like the Cult and a bunch of
Oh,
good
yeah.
other bands in there too. So yeah,
All the music in it was just top notch. It was a
yeah,
good movie to come into after seeing Sinners
right.
because it just
Oh,
carried that theme on, you
right,
know.
yeah.
So I was able to enjoy that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was good. It's good, fun watch, an easy watch. I could watch it on my, I watched a couple episodes on my lunch breaks, which was cool, So yeah, it was definitely a fun show.
So in your rating of the show, what would you give it?
I would say 3.5.
3.5 Little Richards?
Yeah, maybe 4. I can't really think of anything really wrong with it. The only thing, I mean, this isn't really wrong. It's just me being who I am, and because I watch too much, of TV and stuff. But like when at the end, when they were talking about the Lilith demon and saying she was like the, she had a beautiful voice and she was God's favorite because she would sing and everything. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, she's gonna possess the wife.
Right.
But I mean, that's just me, watching too much genre
Well, yeah,
television.
there's obvious foreshadowing coming
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
in the
But I mean,
show.
I'm not really dinging the show for that. It's
I'm okay with it though, because like knowing what's coming up in the second season just prepares me
Yeah.
for it. And
Oh
I'm
no,
just
the ending was great. Super creepy. I love when he's getting arrested at the end and the bird flies out and
right,
he knows, he's like, oh shit, that's that bird.
right.
And yeah, so that was cool. And yeah, it was, and I liked the local mob guy, Lucky. He was a piece of shit, but he was kind of doing things for the right reason.
Like
At
he
one point,
honestly,
he honestly
his
cared
whole
about
thing,
the.
like his whole shtick was like, I'm just trying to be a better man and not be that
Yeah,
ass that I was before.
right.
Like Kevin Bacon makes him into that asshole.
Yeah, and it's like, and he really did care about Marianne and the son, and
That's the thing that's the overwhelming theme of the entire show is that Kevin Bacon didn't just go to hell, but he takes everybody that's in his circle with him,
right,
one way or
right,
another.
right, right. He kind of pollutes everything around him. Yeah,
He poisons all of their souls and takes them
right.
down with him. Because the
Yeah.
minute they agree to do these things with them, they become part of that
Hmm.
contract, you know,
Right.
and that's what's going on. And I appreciate how freaked out his handler is because once she realized what's going on and her background with what's going on too, she's like,
Yeah,
this can screw up my cushy deal.
right.
Well, all I gotta do is sit at home and enjoy
Yeah,
life.
yeah, and then well, because his handler was like, "You brought your mom into this,"
Right,
and then a couple episodes later, she's like, "Wait, you brought your wife and your son into this?" And
right,
she was like, "What are you doing?"
right. Like at any point in time, your job is done. You can go back to hell. Like, what are you doing?
Right. And
Yeah,
and he did. I mean, and he did bring him on to this because at the end, the wife was getting arrested, and the
yep,
sheriff was saying, he's like, "We can't arrest the son because
right.
and so yeah, he's just it's a
Everybody that gets involved in everyone that loves him is just going to hell with him.
yeah. So
And that's
yeah,
kind of cool at the same time that they all kind of know this.
right,
They're all trying to redeem themselves by redeeming him. And
right.
I'm excited. I'm glad that the 30-minute format and the fact that it was only 8 episodes let me fly through this so fast that it wasn't that much of a hindrance to watch. It
No,
wasn't like
it
I wasn't
really
like, oh man, I gotta watch this next episode. It just
right.
flew so quick.
Yeah, it really is a credit to the writing that they got so much done in 8 episodes that are only 30 minutes long. It was really well done with the writing.
Right. And pulled us in so quick and got me so much that I'm waiting for the next season.
Right,
You
and
know.
there was plenty of characterization. They didn't skimp on like characters or
No, they didn't.
yeah. So it was a really good job on the writing side for sure.
So there you go. I agree on Justin's higher rating. 4 Little Richards for me. So you should see like Little Richard dancing around the bottom here. There you go, Little Richard. Um, so yeah, 4. Let's move on to the next film. I'm gonna save Sinners for last because
Yeah,
I already
I,
reviewed that
I
before.
was gonna say the same thing. Yeah,
But even though it'd be a good segue because of the musical part,
right.
but so let's go into what was the next topic?
Daredevil, I think. Yeah,
Okay, Daredevil. I have been singing the praises of Daredevil Born Again since day one. Um, this new season of Daredevil saw Matt Murdock and crew come back. I believe it's like 5 or 10 years later after the events that had happened in the previous show, the Netflix series. And we see that Wilson Fisk is a more humble person and he's trying to lead a straight life. And by doing so, he wants to run for mayor and try to bring organization and light to the city in that manner while Vanessa is handling all the drug stuff. And Matt Murdock is still trying to recover from a devastating opening scene of Daredevil, which I don't want to get into. If you haven't seen it yet, you're waiting for whatever stupid reason, go see it, watch it, because you have to right now. Um, I'm going to spoil it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Foggy dies, and but he dies in what has to be one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a long time. Uh, Almost old man skill fight scene choreography, uh, just as beautiful as it was in the previous seasons of Daredevil. In that first episode, for me, I thought that this fight
yeah,
choreography was great, and continuing on all the other episodes from there, just great fight choreography and everything.
yeah,
And um, and the story just goes on from there on how Matt's going to recover from the death of his friend, and how he's living in a corporate lifestyle, and how he's dealing with a new serial killer that's on the street, and him having stepped out of being Daredevil because of Foggy's death, and trying to honor him in that way. But watching all these other vigilantes trying to step up and failing because they're just not Matt Murdock. And then he just can't take it anymore and he goes for it. I thought this series was great and capped off with one of the better scenes. I'm all about buddy cops for some reason. I don't know. Playing Beverly Hills Cop and 48 Hours and all those
And
movies.
Lethal
Okay,
Weapon
Lethal
and
Weapon and all that. I'm way too old for this shit. Okay, but like the end sequence where Daredevil and fucking and Punisher are just walking down, like they
dude,
have lights shine on them. They're just strolling down the street like, "What's up?" Like two homies. Like,
the show should just be called Daredevil and the Punisher because
right?
I loved the whole show, but it is at a whole nother level when they are on the screen together. They
Exactly.
have
Even when
such
they're
great
when they're
chemistry.
together and arguing
Yes.
in Punisher's little hideout.
Yeah.
Like the gloves came off verbally there. Like whatever gloves they take off to fight each other when they're going at it, they took it off verbally in there, and it was just as harsh to watch Daredevil take those verbal hits as it is to watch him take the hits out on the street.
Yeah.
Uh, Beautiful writing, beautiful everything. Everything about it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was sad at the lack of She-Hulk, but hey, you know, if you don't have
Yeah.
to see Matt Murdock do the Walk of Shame in the morning, then that's fine. You already got it in She-Hulk, and I thought that was the best thing about that series. With the Matt Murdock Walk of Shame, that was fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Was.
That's just me, but I love the series. What'd you think?
No, I loved it too. Uh, I thought it was great. I liked I liked all of it. I thought the last two episodes were the best of the whole series. And but there was, I mean, it was good all the way through. I loved the like the standalone bank robbery episode was great. Um but yeah, no, seeing Daredevil, and when it's called Born Again, and it's about Matt Murdock realizing that Daredevil is a part of him he can't just like get rid of.
Right.
And the same thing with Fisk, is the Kingpin is a part of him he just can't get rid of. So they're both going through this metamorphosis together but separately. And to see them mirror image of them as they go was just awesome. It was really cool to see how they were both going back to their roots at the same time for different reasons. Yeah, it was great fight scenes. Yeah, the fight scene with the Punisher and Daredevil against the all the crooked cops in Daredevil's apartment was so. I again, same with like Bondsman. I couldn't believe the level of violence that we saw on Disney Plus. I was astounded. Um, but no, it was
You gotta
great.
stop and like, hold on a minute. Yep, it's Disney. Just checking.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, but so yeah,
And the
it
fight with Muse. Oh,
fight with Muse was great. Yeah, the fight with Muse in his lair and then in his girlfriend's office, both were great fight scenes. Um, I liked the new characters. Okay, I think they'll become more important as we go. I really liked oh dang it, what's his name? Um,
White Tiger.
no, why? I mean, I liked him too, but the Fisk's assistant.
Oh, Giuliani. No, what's his name? The Sopranos son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really cool. I liked seeing his progression to the end, and yeah, it was very cool. I liked the way Fisk and Vanessa came back together, and yeah, no, it was great. I'm
You
really
get
looking
a
forward to.
headache after the last episode. You get a little sympathy head pains there. After just did the little grape squishing of that.
Ooh, that was insane. That
Yeah.
again, I was like, "Are we on Disney Plus still?" Or
Hold on.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on to
Um,
Disney. Yeah.
and I did see a little on YouTube. I did see a little behind the scenes of that. They showed the model. Because again, for those who haven't seen it, it's all practical effects. It's just great. But they showed the model of the guy's head, and you could see where it was rigged to split. And yeah, it's pretty
I
great.
love that it wasn't like a perfect break either. Like
No,
he was doing it and his hand slid and it broke his
yeah, and
arm
it just
like it
kind of
would.
tore, and
Yeah, like oh my god. Oh,
it was made it all the more
I took an
realistic. And
Advil afterwards just to be sure.
yeah, I was no, I was really happy with it because I mean I love the Netflix seasons, and so this one had a pretty high bar for me, and but no,
Well,
I
we'll
thought
see.
I thought it stood up there. I thought it fit right in. I'm looking
I was
forward to
glad to
season
see
season
that
two.
that because they did incorporate some of their original season that they had first filmed,
Right,
or they realized it was crap, and so
right,
they did incorporate that some of those scenes in there. But after that, like the Netflix writers, they hired the Netflix writers back, and the Netflix writers, well, we need these people back,
yeah,
and they made it so that it was Netflix writing style,
right,
and that's what I think made it shine.
yeah, and I
Because you
think
could tell in those other scenes where it's like, okay, well, I see where they could have gone with it. Oh, okay, and I'm sure that if the actor that had played White Tiger was still alive, maybe we might have seen more scenes with him and maybe more
yeah,
buddy scenes. But unfortunately, he passed away before the season could come out,
right,
before they could even finish refilming what they had already
right,
filmed.
right.
So he couldn't be a part of that anymore. Um,
But
but
I'm sure his niece is going to take it up because she does in the comics. So
right, she does in the comics and in the animated TV series and everything else. So it's a good segue.
yeah,
Um, I'm just, I was just floored. I thought it was
yeah, I
great.
liked it a lot. The Yeah, everything was great. They had some really cool, even some really cool camera work um, going on, and we haven't even mentioned Bullseye. Bullseye was great. Um,
Oh, then they pull that one scene straight out of the comic.
yo,
Oh,
with the
I
tooth.
loved it.
Yep,
Oh, when he yanks his tooth out, straight
yep,
out of the comics.
yep,
Did that? That was phenomenal.
yep. It's
And
very
then you're
cool.
questioning, like, did he slam his head onto that table as a favor, or did he do it because he was frustrated?
I,
You have to question Matt Murdock's motivations. I think as a favor, but because he knows what he was up to.
yeah, but I don't know because then if he wanted him to get free, then I don't know if he would have jumped in front of Fisk. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe
But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll discuss it. Maybe they won't.
I think he did it on purpose, though. I think that's why he did it to do him a favor. Because you heard Bullseye afterwards thanking him. Thank you,
Yeah,
Captain.
but I'm thinking more Bullseye was purposely pushing his buttons
To get him
for
to act that way. Yeah,
for
I'm sure too.
to get him to beat him up.
But I think there's a little bit of Matt in there that was like, fine, you know. Like there was
Yeah,
that dark side of Matt that didn't realize whether he wanted Daredevil to come back or not, and he realized that
right,
by doing this, it gave him a reason to bring Daredevil back.
right. That's
That
true.
would be the motivation to bring it. If Bullseye went out and committed crimes again, Daredevil's coming back, and that would be his excuse.
That's true. That's possible.
But we'll see what they say next season.
Yeah,
For all I know, he could have tripped and fell, and it was a blooper, and they kept it in the show.
right.
Who knows? What would you give this season rating wise?
Uh, I'd say 4.
4.
Yeah,
I'll go with that. 4 Little Richards for the first season of Daredevil Born Again.
yeah.
There you go. Dancing all wonderful. Not dancing because I'm not that great at animation, but he's there. Little bastard. All right. The next movie Why don't you bring
Sinners.
us in, Justin?
All right, so Sinners, uh, written and directed by Ryan Coogler of Black Panther fame and Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan in two roles as twins, um, and a whole lot of other people that were great. Um, uh, yeah, Sinners is a vampire movie. On just if you're going to be real basic about it. Um, Coogler has cited his biggest influence for this movies were From Dusk Till Dawn and The Thing, which are plainly evident when you watch it. It's a movie set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta, and Smoke and Stack are twin brothers. They are World War I veterans who are returning to their Mississippi town after working for Al Capone in Chicago. And they, while they were there, they did a swindle job on the Italian and the Irish and stole a bunch of alcohol. And they have moved back to Mississippi to open a juke joint. And they purchased an old sawmill from a local clan member, leader actually, and the whole movie is great because it takes place in just 24 hours, and so it's a real tight story. And I would say the first third of the movie is them just assembling the crew to open the juke joint. They recruit their little cousin, who goes by the name Preacher Boy because his father's a preacher, to play guitar. And what's Delroy Lindo's name? Uh, Delta
Delta
Slim.
Slim.
Yes, he is an older blues musician, and he's going to play with Preacher Boy. And so they pretty much go around recruiting people to help them open up this juke joint. And they get it going, and it's going, and then vampire craziness ensues.
Yeah.
Yeah, the we see don't remember his actual name, but the main vampires. You
Jack
see him.
O'Connell.
Yes, you see him stumble into the scene and convince a couple to let them into their home, and he turns them, and they head out to the juke joint, lured by the magic of Preacher Boy's music, which they hear, and it's very much like the old story about the crossroads,
Thank
where,
you. I
where
keep asking everybody, have you seen the movie Crossroads? Do you know
oh,
what I'm talking
it's
about?
Ralph
And
Macchio
nobody
and
knows what I'm talking about.
Ralph Macchio,
I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
and so they're lured there by his music, and they are trying to recruit him to join the Vampire Clan, which was a cool way they did it. Like when you become a vampire in this universe or whatever, they become like a hive mind. They all share the same memories and um, the same memories and same knowledge that they all have. And so it's all about the vampires trying to get in this club and the people in this club trying to keep them out. And once the vampires do get in, trying to defeat them. And yeah, so yeah, that's the basic of the movie.
What did you think?
Loved it. Loved it a lot. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes. It didn't seem like it was that long. In about 5 minutes, I forgot that Michael B. Jordan was playing both parts. I just
Right.
assumed they were two different actors that looked a lot alike. He did such a good job.
There was one scene where I felt it was a little forced, but otherwise it was just natural. I thought
Yeah,
everything was natural. And that was the cigarette sharing scene,
right,
where he makes a cigarette for himself. That felt a little forced.
right.
Otherwise, everything was seamless.
Yes, yeah. And Yeah, it was. I mean, it was great. I liked every single performance in it. Um, the guy playing Preacher Boy, I did a little bit of research on him. This was his first movie, but he's a musician. He's an actual musician and singer, and he's been performing with her for several years. And she was actually the one that convinced him to audition for it. So that was
Okay.
pretty interesting. She's some pop star. I have no idea what her music's like.
Oh, her name is Her.
Yes, it's kind of
I'm like,
confusing. Yeah.
which one?
Uh, but yeah, she actually convinced him to audition for it, and he was great. He's got a great voice. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's got that
it was
natural deep voice. It just
really. Yeah, I was a, for a second, I was like, is that him actually singing? Because like he's got
right.
a
There's
hell of a voice
a
coming
minute
out
where
of
you're like,
such a young kid. But yeah, it is really him. And yeah, it was. I loved it. I loved the music. I loved the action. Um, like even the whole getting the crew together was just great.
mhm.
I loved all the supporting cast. I thought they all had cool characters, and yeah, it was that was a great movie.
I loved it. I did see some people walk out of it uncomfortable. They were of the pale complexion, especially when. So there's a scene in the movie. I think I brought this up in one of my earlier reviews of it. There's a scene in the movie. Not a lot of people will understand. Maybe us old guys might. There was a
Right.
TV show way back in the 70s called Good Times. In this show, there was a painting on the wall. It's a very famous painting that was depicted a lot in the show because it showed a bunch of black people dancing in a juke joint
Mm-hmm.
to blues music and stuff, and just flowing with with the music, forgetting about the troubles of the world and just flowing with it and being captured in that musical moment. And that's the painting that they have in the show. Well, they recreated it in the movie and paid homage to it, and it you'll see it. I've seen it in a lot of interviews. People are bringing it up, or Coogler's bringing it up, and all that stuff, where they try to recreate it in the film during the fire scene with during the
Mm-hmm.
music scene, and that scene in itself, I thought was beautiful.
Yeah, I thought it was great. The thinning of the veil.
The thinning
Where
of the
they're
veil, the bringing on of generations of musical harpingers, the sirens from days of old and future, and all that stuff. I thought it was just gorgeous. The music
yeah,
that was being played was beautiful. The composition of it and everything was
yeah,
just awesome, nasty. Yeah, it was just nasty.
right.
And and I loved it. And because of that, I enjoyed it. But that was a scene where a lot of people were getting up and leaving. Because I
Oh
believe
wow.
at that point, that's like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
And I think people were still frustrated that they weren't getting any vampires yet.
man.
And I'm like, if you've never seen Dusk Till Dawn, you guys have got to understand the word patience.
Right.
Because like if you remember Dusk Till Dawn, a lot of fucked up shit happens before the vampires get
Yeah.
revealed.
Yeah. No,
And
it's kind of the same structure where
right,
oh this could easily be like a 30s like crime movie.
right.
You know what I mean?
Or
About two.
an easy like the clan could come in and ruin everything. It could be a
Right.
fight for all that stuff. You know what I mean? It could just be all that stuff. But no. Now then they go dirty. Then when Haley Stanfield is talking to the three vampires that are out there, and she turns
Yeah.
around and walks back, and you see Jack O'Connell
Just
floating through the air,
yeah.
and you hear all the people in the theater, including myself, go, "Nope, nope, that ain't right. Oh no, 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 no."
Yeah.
That's when you know the shit's gonna hit the fan.
No, it
And
was great. And then yeah, then that whole Rocky Road to Dublin scene was great.
right,
Um yeah, I mean, it was great. I loved it from beginning to end. I thought the ending was great. I mean, yeah, you get to kill a whole bunch of clan members. Of course, it's great. But
I was
thought that
sad to see a lot of the my favorite characters, including Delroy Lindo
yeah,
and the oh man, what was his name? Cornbread.
yeah,
I love him in every show he's ever been in. Omar Benson Miller, Haley Stanfield. Uh, uh, it was sad to see those my favorite actors, you know, get
yeah.
taken. But it was still a great movie. I
Yeah,
loved it. Easily 5 Little Richards for me.
yeah, it was. I was gonna say it's 5 for me too. It was. I mean, it was perfect. There wasn't anything in it that made me go. There
Right.
was
I wasn't bored. I wasn't wanting something new. I wasn't
no
wishing I was somewhere. I had to go to the bathroom. I ran and ran back.
right.
And then I asked the random person next to me, "Did I miss anything?" Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I loved everything about it. Yeah, in case anybody hasn't seen it, I don't know why you'd be listening to us if you haven't seen it yet. But
Right.
there are some after credit scenes, so you want to make sure
Absolutely.
people start getting up and leaving. I was like, and I was just like, fuck it. I was like, hey, there's some after credit scenes. I felt
I
bad that they were leaving, and
I missed the last one,
yeah.
uh, but I couldn't
Did you
get
hear what it was?
yeah, I heard what it
Okay.
was, but I
Okay.
caught the middle one
Yeah,
with
because the last
Haley
one
and
isn't
Michael B coming back and stuff,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, the last one isn't a super big deal, but yeah,
Right,
the
especially
mid
now that
credits one is
Ryan
what.
Coogler has announced that there will not be a sequel. He's not making another one, he's not continuing the story or anything like that. It was a
That's
one
kind of
shot.
a bummer. I was kind of hoping.
There was a part of me that was, but I'm glad it's not because I wanted to stand up on its own. I think it's
Yeah,
stronger. It'd have been
I
nice
mean,
to see maybe another siren from another place tell that story, but
yeah,
it yeah, it would have to be a different type of environment. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'd be down for a Mary and Stack fucking Bonnie and Clyde vampire fucking movie too.
I
So
think I'd be down. I'd be down with that, especially considering a lot of the things she said in this movie were very quotable, and I have them saved to my phone so I can listen to them late at night when my wife is asleep. Um,
I,
woo, the things she said.
how come I know exactly what you're talking about?
Right. Okay. See, she don't say those things. And I don't
Yeah.
never heard her say those things before. And okay. But,
No, yeah,
what
I
were we
thought it was
talking
great.
about?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Definitely 5 Little Richards for me too.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That about wraps us up for the show. Thank you, Justin, for tuning in. Joey is noticeably missing from his absence. He's still okay. We'll see him on the next episode. Um, yeah. Uh, please, if you have time this weekend, Joel and I will be out
Oh
at
yeah.
I'll be at Free Comic Book Day at Four Color Fantasies. I'm going to be setting up a booth there for Richard. We're going to have a lot of his old toys and collectibles and stuff that we're selling for to help raise money for the family. Excuse me. So we'll be there at Free Comic Book Day on Saturday, May the 3rd, and we'll be at the SoCal Joe Show on Saturday, May the 4th. We'll have a booth at both locations selling, and then we'll be up at the um, what was the name of that bar I just sent you? Uh,
Oh,
the Better Days Bar in Apple Valley, California, with the for trivia with the Sarlacc Digest at 7 p.m. They're having a Chips for Kids toy drive, May the 4th. They're actually that toy drive is going on from noon to 10 p.m. But I will be at Free Comic Book Day or the SoCal Joe Show the first part of the morning, and we'll be up for later on that night at 7 o'clock for the trivia show. So if you can make it out to one of those, lots of geek opportunities available, not just to help with raise money for Richard's family, but you can also meet a lot of great creators and artists and inventors and what stuff there. Um, and me, if that matters to anybody ever. And who knows? You might see a couple of gray-haired FP guys rolling around. You never
That's
know.
possible.
Things are weird nowadays. Um, yeah, I think that about wraps us up. Please keep checking back on us. Panel.com. It's where things are weird. Don't check out our staff page because it's slowly turning into a memorial. Uh, but you know, um, we miss you, Jason. We missed you, Richard. Hope you guys are doing okay, hanging out now, talking shit about us all this time,
Yeah, obviously.
and trading hair secrets. Um, yeah, check out our newest member, Joel Katz from Fictional Studios, has decided to come on board with Forbidden Panel for you know, his own bad. But
No,
he
that's
was
cool. Yeah, I like Joel. It's cool to have
Joel's
him.
a great artist. He's also very motivated and just a nice guy to have around. He's good people. You've seen him a lot on my toy unboxing on the side panel. He joins me there often. We have a great time. You'll see more of him on the panel cast and
Yeah,
on
he's been on our art streams, our
yeah,
live streams. Yeah,
on our live streams. You see him there all the time. So he's become a permanent member of the company. Please check out the Shadow Nose Network. Uh, we are now a part of their tree. We're not part of their network, but we're just part of their tree. So we exchange links and we pimp each other out. So Shadowlands Network and the Sarlacc Digest and all those guys over there on that side, please go visit them. They're really awesome guys. They have a lot of great knowledge and are more exciting than we are. Not as attractive, obviously, but well, no, they're not as attractive as we are, and they're not as cool as we are because we're older and we know more. But they do get out more, so I guess there's that, and they're louder. So check them out if you can. Check out beenbetter.com for Jimmy and his podcast. His podcast is pretty fun too. He interviews a lot of interesting people. Normally after we've interviewed them, but whatever,
sloppy seconds.
whatever. Jimmy's like that, and make sure you tell him about clowns when you go over to beenbetter.com. He loves clowns,
A big fan.
especially clowns that deliver pizza to him while he's locked inside of a comic book store at late at night. Hi, everybody. That has been the PanelCast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Justin, for joining me.
Of
And we will
course.
catch you guys on the next episode.
Right on.
Please sit
Thanks,
back
everyone.
and enjoy the very loud music that's coming at you right now. Good night, everyone.